least I didn't forget that. Well, I remember one time we were 5 minutes into this thing and I hadn't made it go live yet. It was really strange. And
yeah, I'm going to try to read comments while we're doing this. Before I wasn't reading any, and it's hard to do.
yeah, Al got upset with us, so not Al, somebody else.
It's a pretty big juggling act trying to handle comments and guests and ask questions, and I know it's hard.
It is for me if you're as uncoordinated as I am.
You can't be any more uncoordinated than I am.
I don't know. I've been sitting here trying to get my steel challenge scores, and they're not there. Apparently, they're having troubles too. Wow, look here, a whole bunch of people here. We got Scott Tyndall, we got Steve Lang, we got John, we got Knox Machining, we got the Knacker's Workshop. And Steve Lang, why don't you go ahead and log in? We've got openings.
Oh, that's right on the odd even, huh?
Yeah, I had there's pretty sure there's about 4 empty spots in the odd group that's going to take the first half hour. So, I mean, nobody from that group's logged in yet.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. Since we're just hanging out here, you ever seen any of this stuff?
What is it?
Okay, I'll show you what they are. This is they came in a little tin. They're these little bits of stellite.
Oops. Okay.
They're about about 3/4 of an inch long, about 1/4 inch. It's a half round. They've been like they're broken off on one end. It's almost like they were like a casting, but they're stellite. I don't know what they're for. I'm wondering if they're they're for like some type of farm equipment. I have a whole tin of these things. They came in a tin.
Isn't that stellite stuff real hard?
Oh yeah, hard and tough. I mean, or hard and wear resistant.
Isn't that what they make drill bits out of for drilling oil?
Well, there's drill bits. A lot of hard facing on valves for steam valves. Control valve type thing. The facing for the seat, or sometimes the seat's made out of solid stellite. But they'll face the valves where it seats.
Yeah.
So they don't get cut. But your more expensive valves have them. But I just wonder if anybody ever seen these before like this.
Don't they use those for in welding rod for hard facing buckets and drill augers and things like that? Doesn't that hard facing arc rod contain stellite?
It might. I don't know. It might, but yeah.
I know it's a mix or a blend of materials, but the hard facing stuff is pretty. You can't even hardly grind it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, stellite is unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, these are, you pick them up, you go, wow, that's heavy for a little piece,
Almost like carbide, yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the tin from?
My neighbor gave it to me. His dad used to have a hardware store, and his dad passed away, and they've been cleaning it out. And he found this tin of stellite. He goes, he had no idea what it's for, but they used to work on a lot of farm equipment, fixing up farm equipment. But the whole tin only sold for $5.75.
The worst sunburn I ever had, or welding burn I ever had, was from welding that hard-facing rod on a bucket for a friend of mine on a backhoe, and I welded about a half a tin of that stuff in one day, and I had this little spot right here that my hood came down to here. I didn't have the flap, and it blistered. That stuff just burned. I had to crank the machine all the way up to even weld it. It It takes so much, and it puts out so much blue light.
I've been sunburned like that a few times.
Yeah, you get that little patch right there when you're wearing a V-neck.
Never blisters, but boy.
Yeah, this one blistered. That was probably the worst sunburn I ever had.
How you doing, Billy? Hey, Dean? How you guys?
Hey guys,
I'm doing all right.
Hey, Billy. Hey, Dean.
Problems. I don't know what it is. Every time I launch StreamYard, the last 2 times it turns my camera off and I have to reboot.
Huh.
Yeah, I made it.
A welding story there. When I was 20, I welded galvanized pipe all day, but nobody told me about galvanized poisoning.
Oh,
Was I sick the next day?
Yeah.
drink a lot of milk.
Yeah, and now if I just get a whiff, it hits me hard. Yeah, I have to really be careful.
Yeah, the yellow smoke, the kiss of death, yellow smoke.
All day welding.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's nasty. I always grind it away.
Yeah.
It's the zinc, Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely talk about that in class here when we go over welding with our people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The aluminized is nice. It welds up pretty good. The aluminum, it's called a galvalume, and it's an aluminum coating instead of a galvanized coating. It welds up pretty good. It's a little harder to find.
It doesn't contaminate the weld.
The aluminum doesn't. No, you don't have to grind it away.
Oh wow. Hey Billy, I sent you a package.
Yeah, it's not here yet.
Okay.
It got caught somewhere.
Did that snow finally melt, Randy?
No, we got a foot the other day. Yeah. So that story that went through on Wednesday or yeah.
Yeah, I saw you stuck in that traffic jam.
Oh yeah, we were there for almost an hour.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it was a little two little cars. They were in the snow, could probably going too fast, head on.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, not good.
We got some of it down. We got some of it down here. I had to drive up to Edwards Air Force Base and cut across the Wrightwood is my shortcut to get up to Palmdale, and I had to follow the plows all the way up the hill to Wrightwood.
But I know that they had chain control on the Grapevine.
Yeah, well, they closed Grapevine. They closed Cajon Pass too. Cajon and Cajon both.
Oh yeah, wow.
So that day it hit, I was scheduled to go up to Edwards Air Force Base, and I just went ahead and went and hoped I could get there, and hope I could get home.
Yeah. Yeah, that morning we had to go. Julie had doctor's appointments down in Fresno, and we wake up and there's 10 inches of snow on the ground. It's like, oh yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, real nice. But we came home and our driveway was all plowed, and I didn't plow it. But my neighbor from down the street came by and plowed our driveway for us.
Nice.
Well, that's nice.
That was nice of him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was out playing. He has a 6-seat side-by-side deal, and he just bought a plow blade for it. So he was just out plowing people's driveways.
Well, he just wanted to play.
Yeah, he was just that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
How you doing, James?
Doing all right.
Good.
Hey James, how you doing?
It's been a long weekend already, though. Had big plans to get out in the shop yesterday, and yeah, it just didn't happen. Just exhausted. Been trying to do too much, so take a little break here. It's been nice.
Hey, I liked your video. That last one there with the fusion one. That was a good job.
Oh, really?
Good job.
Yeah,
I watched that whole thing actually.
Well, great.
Not that
Yeah,
I don't know if I learned anything, but I mean I watched the whole thing because it was good.
yeah, I've gotten a lot of positive response to it, but very few views. All the views are down. I've been hearing from a lot of creators that they're kind of down across the platform.
I would say so. I agree. Yeah. But it was a good one though. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah, a lot of the ads are getting really bad. I mean, some channels it's like every minute there's an ad.
Well, if you don't go in and edit the monetization, the ads, they'll stick in 15 minutes. You could have 4 or 5 ads stuffed in your video, and that hurts views.
Yeah, some of them 2 or 3 minutes long.
Yeah, I go in there and I delete them. So there's only a couple. I try to at least. I try to get in there.
Yeah, I just
I
eliminated
think
the
I have all
mid-roll
mine
ads
turned
completely.
off, but it's hard to
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, I let the pre-roll go, and I let one post-roll, and I just turn everything else off because it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I let the skippable ones fly, and then I turn off the non-skippable ones.
Yep, same here.
That's mine.
Yeah, but they'll stick so many in there. It's
Yeah,
every 3 minutes there's an ad.
Well,
You know, it's like,
It picks up on your video breaks. If there's lots of clips,
Yep.
it inserts it on the clips. So the more clips, the more it does it.
Well,
Oh, well.
It is a bit annoying.
yeah. Hey, Dean, here, Dean, you didn't, I showed this here a minute ago. I got a tin of these. These are stellite. I was wondering if you ever seen these before. It's about, it's not quite an inch long, about 3/4 or so. It's a half round, and they're pieces of stellite.
Huh. I've got some stellite saw teeth.
Well,
Oh, okay. Huh.
have you ever seen any of this?
No.
Yeah.
We got a private tour of a sawmill, and we were in the sharpening room talking to the guys for quite a while. And they use stellite teeth on the these are like 12-inch wide bandsaw blades.
Yeah.
40, I think they're 47 feet long.
Did they weld the teeth?
They only last 4 hours.
Yeah.
They change them every 4 hours, and then they regrind the teeth, or we'll weld on new teeth as needed. And the guy gave me a handful of them. I was going to try brazing them on to some, make some tool bits out of it, but
What were they cutting with
back
the
burner.
What were they cutting with the blades? Steel?
Mainly redwood. It was
The sawmill. Yeah.
yeah,
And the stellite would only last how long?
4 hours.
In redwood?
Yeah, well, it's the dirt. It's the dirt and the bark and such that does the damage. And they're still cutting. They just automatically every 4 hours they change the blade.
Yeah.
And they freshen them up.
Yeah. I mean, they debark the logs and everything, but still there's rocks and get in bed. If they're doing a lot of skidding, that's when it gets all dug in there, and it's bad. Yeah.
Hey, you guys were talking about this week's format or whatever about the most expensive project we ever did. Does that include construction projects?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. I was wondering about that.
Well,
I
I mean,
figured
if
it
you're
was just
talking
shop stuff.
shop projects, okay. So, I mean, Chuck, you came over to Gillig Bus and you saw that facility.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how far along I was on that job when you saw it. But take a wild guess, just a wild guess, what all that equipment cost.
Oh shit. A couple million, I would think. That place was huge.
No, just the paint equipment that I was doing.
Oh, I don't know. There was a ton of it though.
Yeah, it was just never ending. I was there for 8 months. It was pretty extensive.
Total improvements were probably 10 million, I would think, on that whole project.
Yeah, you're right there. It was 8.6 for all that spray equipment.
Yeah.
That's my most expensive project, but that's not here in the shop.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
I never made it over there. Our company did the HVAC controls.
Oh, you did? Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, you probably ran into one of our guys, but
I ran into him with a forklift.
Yeah.
Those guys were nuts, man. They're driving around there in their golf carts, their forklifts, and their scissor lifts, and just running over stuff. And everybody was breaking someone else's stuff over there. It was incredible.
Yeah.
My trailer. I had my trailer inside the building. It got ran into 3 times. Just sitting there parked, and someone will run into it.
Yeah. That's amazing because the safety rules now on construction sites are just ridiculous. It's safety on top of safety.
Yeah.
Well, I tell
Did
you
you get
what,
something stole off a job site? One of your tripods?
Say that again, Billy?
I said, didn't you get one of your tripods stolen off one of your work sites?
Not off that job site, but I had my big tripod stolen off a job site here in Southern California. I like my new one better.
you want to talk about running into something. When I when I was working in Saudi, they built a new divided highway, and about 100 yards off from it, out in the desert, there was an old water truck sitting there, just abandoned. You know, one morning on the way to work, I looked, and someone had run right into the back end of it with a dump truck.
Jeez.
You had to try for that accident.
I mean, it was parked, right?
Yeah, it was permanently parked right out in the desert.
Well, I had a UPS truck open up one side of my trailer, just like a can opener. You just sideswiped the whole side, and it just opened it right up. And then UPS is insured really well. They repaired my trailer, but and it was parked. The only time that trailer's ever had any damage, it wasn't even moving.
So I got another story out of my 20s. I was working in a mechanic shop for a city, a 3-wheel Wayne sweeper, street sweeper. You know those. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
With a Detroit diesel in it. Well, they parked it in front of the shop and they said, "Hey, Chuck, go out there and see what's wrong with the." I forget why I had to go out there, but go work on it. So I climb up in the unit and it's full of panels and bolts you got to take off, and I must have taken it out of gear. I don't know what I did, but I looked at what wrenches I need, and then I got back down and I walk in the shop to get all my wrenches. I come out and there's a man door. I walked out and I turned to go to the machine and it's gone. The Detroit diesel, you can hear it. You could hear it a mile away. And I walk out and I go, "Where the hell's the machine? It's gone." And I look straight across through the carports, and there's windows, and I see the machine appear in the window out in the street. and it starts up. And also, when I was in the shop getting my tools, I heard this. Well, the operator that had parked it walked down the yard, and to me, it was an old guy. And he had engineer boots. Well, he's seen the thing rolling out with nobody in it, and he went and chased it. And it managed to hit one of the employees' trucks just as he put it in gear. Fire up and pull it back in. I went, "Oh, shit." Didn't get fired.
Wow. The scariest thing that ever happened to me is we were lifting a gantry. You know, it was disassembled, and it was on a big electronics company, and they had one of these jib cranes over the side of the building with electric hoist on it. And then there was a middle deck with with the access hole where you could, the jib crane would go through the hole and you could lift stuff up to the upper deck. Well, we're lifting the gantry, and we had done it before, and you're trying to get it to fit through the hole, and it always gets caught on one edge, right? So the guy running the hoist, he had to be ready on the button to stop so that you could jiggle it around and get it to go, not get caught on the opening. Well, of course, it caught like it usually does. The button on the hoist jammed. He couldn't stop it. It pulled the whole jib crane right off the side of the building.
Oh, jeez.
And I was at the bottom. The whole crane, hoist, everything came down through the hole. Luckily, I heard it breaking, jumped out of the way. Nobody else was around, and everything just piled up right there on the ground. And it was a miracle that nobody got hurt on that. But, yeah, it was scary.
Well, who wants to tell us about their most expensive project?
Well, years ago now, but I Stan, talking about construction, but I helped, or I was one of several engineers, but I did the main supervision of installation and startup and all this of re-automating three tankers. that ran in, I don't know, $10-20 million. It was a lot. So, I did it and did one ship we did one ship underway, and it took us a little over a year to do. And then one ship we did in Portland and one ship we did in Singapore. So that was fun.
Were those after steam, Randy? Were those after steam?
Those were steam ships.
Those were steam. Yeah.
Yeah. The first one we did it ended up being the first steamship in the world to obtain licensing to run an unattended engine room. So you didn't have to have any personnel in there. So it's a good project.
Corona.
Well,
Did you guys cover up? Sorry about
Bless
that.
you.
He's probably got COVID.
Yeah. Well, COVID, not Corona.
I would say for me, though, for my personal side of things, here in the shop, my dovetail cutter project has probably been the most expensive thing for me. You're having to buy a lot of products yourself and outlay the money, and I think that I've made almost 1,000 of those things now, and it ran into a few bucks over the years.
The money end up being worth it for you?
Oh yeah, I make money on them, but I'm just but there's still a lot of work into it. It's you make 1,000 of something that put your hand on every one of them, and it's
yeah,
a lot.
well, those are and you're manually machining those. That's crazy amount of labor.
Yeah. I did have a friend. He has a production shop, and I had him run 400, 200 of each size a couple of years ago. He did the lathe part of it, the turning part of it for me. So all I had to do was mill those and clean them up and stuff. That helped a lot. It was well worth me having him do that. But all the rest I've done myself. So
yeah, for sure. Just watching your videos, just turning those all and getting that taper on every single one of them seemed like that would have been the craziest part of it.
I haven't had to make one now for a few months, but
the ones you sold me look beautiful. So
Yeah, yours was yours are actually one of the very last ones here I've made. I haven't made any since actually I made yours.
Well, I'm glad I got in on it then.
Yeah. But yeah.
I have a similar situation with the precision ground stones. The initial setup cost was up there because I bought the surface grinder and the diamond wheels and all the stuff to balance the wheels, and I had a lot of parts to make. It took 6-8 months just to set up to start doing them.
Yeah, Stephen, how do you true your wheels? Did you buy a brake unit to?
I built a brake unit
or
based off of one that Stan showed me at his place, and that worked okay. But what I'm using now is molybdenum bar, and actually mount it in my grinding vise. And it trues the wheels up pretty quick. That was a Robin Renzetti find. And he started that whole routine.
Yeah, I think he showed a video on that, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Using a molybdenum, yeah.
That works really well. I mean, well enough that I will do it each time I change the setup on my grinder. I'll re-true it with that, and it's quick and easy. And as far as dressing those diamond wheels, the grinding of the stones, they self-dress, but you do need to true them up once in a while.
Yeah, I was going to ask if anybody knew what those stones were he was using for that. Those are just carborundum stones, or what they were?
The stones that I'm grinding?
No, that Robin Renzetti was showing you after you rip the diamonds out with the molybdenum, how is he grinding it back? Now I understand
It's
on the
aluminum
stones it does it
oxide.
itself. Okay.
It's a soft aluminum oxide, and I have the same thing. I use that. If I'm going to be grinding carbide or something like that, then I dress it with one of those soft aluminum oxide stones to exposes the diamond. But
Okay,
when I'm
cool.
doing the precision ground stones, like I say, it's pretty much
Yeah.
self-dressing.
That's pretty slick.
But it does get out of shape after a while. After several sets, it gets a little out of shape, so I hit it on that molybdenum rod and trues it right up.
Interesting.
Of course, we're only talking about having to be out a few tenths. If it's out by 5/10, it's too much to get a good flat stone. So we're not talking about truing it up 3, 4, 5 thousandths. We're talking about 2, 3 tenths truing it up.
Have you ever tried measuring the flatness of one, Stephen?
I have, and it doesn't tell you
It might be
much.
kind of hard. It might be kind of hard.
Well, the best way to do, initially I was hinging them on my surface plate, but the best way now is when I do them in pairs, and when they're flat, they actually ring together. My son's just leaving. They actually will ring together when they're flat. And if I have a problem, if one's a little out or there's a low spot in it, they won't ring together. You can actually, on the fine side, you can actually lay one on top of the other and pick it up and lift the lower stone with it. They're that flat. But I do my final cut at 5/10, so
How
I
about you,
guarantee
Jay?
it within 2 tenths, but I don't know whether that's realistic or not.
So my probably most expensive shop project, and time is money. So it was restoring the old South Bend lathe. I mean, that was a year-long project. It was every nut, bolt, washer, total disassembly. Just amazing how many parts there are in one of those things when you start disassembling them. I don't know if I can show my screen or not. I'll give it a try here.
Did you have to replace any parts or make any of your own?
Yeah. I put new nuts on the lead screws. A few bearings. I had a few parts missing. One of the covers was missing. I actually changed the bed also. I found a better quality bed. It was, and I probably spent, before I even started, several months just collecting what I knew I was going to need for parts, some of the gears and so forth for the feed. Let me see if I can share my screen here.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Rusty there over in Belgium. Yeah, he's doing pretty good with his cancer problems and stuff. So, how you doing, Rusty?
Did you see that last video that he posted, the rose that he made? That was fantastic.
I must have missed that one.
He just went out yesterday or the day before. Beautiful job he did.
Yeah. Did you guys see
He placed
that?
it on the grave of an unknown soldier.
Oh man,
There we go.
am I on? No.
That is a
I can
lathe.
see that. That looks good.
That's what it looked like when I got it. All right. And there it is, all done.
Yeah,
That's nice.
real nice.
Let's see. Let me go the other direction here. Just some of the parts. There's the parts from the apron going back together. There's the gearbox going back together. The gearbox is probably the hardest thing. another shot of it.
Now, what size lathe is that?
It's a 10L, a heavy 10.
Oh, okay, the heavy 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it was,
discovered that being a YouTuber and filming everything you do is handy when you go to put something back together. There's a lot of times you go back to your video. I mean, like that gearbox, holy moly. If you didn't mark every one of those gears, you're like, which one goes where? And you go back on your video. And
look at it. I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it too.
I was saved many times.
Yeah.
I do that when I'm working on cars.
I had to do that when I was working on the clothes dryer. Every time I put it back together, I can't remember which way to wrap the belt around the little tension arm. Now I have to rebuild that thing about every year and a half.
All right, I've got a question for all the experts here. Everybody's familiar with the gauge block sets. And most of the gauge blocks have this little empty slot that says worn. And I never bothered to figure it out until yesterday. And evidently, Sarah or whatever, you put a block on one side and a block on the other, and your main gauge blocks in between because you're trying to protect your gauge blocks. So you wear these guys out. Now, why is it you cannot find a worn gauge block to buy? And why is it when you need two, there's only one slot in the set for one worn block?
Usually
Nobody comes with.
Usually you'd use a 100 thousandths gauge block for your wear block.
Yeah.
And then get another 100 thousandths gauge block for your empty slot.
Yeah, but why isn't there two spots? You need two blocks. There should be two worn spots.
Right. I mean, mine only has one. I've got a Mitsui set, and it's got room for one wear block. And I think I bought it on Amazon. I bought 100 thousandths. They don't call it a wear block. It's just 100 thousandths block, and they're very common. They're not very expensive. Probably one of the cheaper sizes. And just throw it in there. And my two 100 thousandths gauge blocks are my sacrificial gauges.
Okay. Where do you get them from? Because I'm seeing everything expensive trying to buy just one.
You can get them on McMaster Cars. Got them. I think they have Mitsuyos in stock.
Yeah,
That's
MSC carries it.
expensive. Like $30 each.
How much?
30 to 35. It's ridiculous.
Well, everything's going up, but steel. I've noticed steel prices are really going up too.
MSC carries them also.
Yeah. Most of those places I don't want to go because their shipping is outrageous. Same as Shars. I know Chuck buys a lot of stuff, or Shark River buys a lot of stuff from Shars, but boy, that's outrageous shipping.
Yeah, Amazon.
Or buy it on
eBay.
eBay and it's free shipping.
Yeah.
They have
eBay
a
or
channel
Amazon.
on eBay. Well, yeah, but Shars has a channel on eBay, and the shipping is very often either free or a fraction of what it is on the website.
Yeah, I buy
that's
most of
where
my
I go.
Shar stuff on eBay.
Because I'm looking at a
Discount
dual set that's missing a couple of pieces on eBay at $70. I'm thinking about just picking that up.
Yeah, you can get the 100 gauge blocks. You can get Mitutoyos on Amazon with Prime shipping for $20, $25. That's still a lot for one block, but
Yeah. I just looked yesterday and was like, no, nothing down under around 20.
yeah.
Wow. So I'll just get this dual
Yeah, I'm
set
looking
here.
for. I bought two incomplete sets and put them together, and I'm just missing 2 or 3 blocks now to finish it up. And I'm finding them on eBay for like $12.50 a piece.
Really?
But it's not going to be I have a good set, and this one is just really I use for setup and so on, for knocking around the shop.
Yeah, I've
I
got
don't
one
mind
good
getting a
set.
cheaper one.
My one good set doesn't even have the spot for the worn block.
The last video that I just posted yesterday, one of my viewers gave me an original Joe block, and
Yeah,
it's
I
got
saw
the
that.
Ford logo on it. It's
Yeah, I
a
saw
4-inch. It's in pretty good
Beautiful.
shape.
Yeah, it
And
was.
that was
I
the
saw
one
it.
piece. Yeah, that was one that was missing out of my set.
Perfect.
Hey, Harold, how we doing on the backstage? We got anybody waiting?
Hey, for Dave there, I can get an MSC mid-toil block 100,000s for 1486 or something. 1486.
Wow, you're
That's
looking
not
at
too
it right
bad.
now, huh?
I just checked, yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
that's all right. MSC,
I might include.
On MSC, yeah. Now,
thank you. All right.
yeah.
Doesn't MSC
I
have
got
a
an
will
order
call
of
counter?
stones coming.
Hey Chuck, doesn't MSC have a walk-in will call counter?
Well, when they did, San Jose one's gone. I don't know about other places.
Oh, okay. I knew you used to go in and
Oh,
they had a
yeah.
bargain shelf and
They had,
you used
yeah.
to. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know they were still around.
Oh, it's great.
We
They
have an
have
MSC here. I
something
went to go.
cut down and just cut it down to not $25. A couple $100 tool. No, it's here, Chuck, $25.
There you go.
Sweet. Yeah, that's over
Well, that's sad.
though. I know.
Oh, did everybody get their
I have a will
third
call
stimulus
for my
check
local
yet?
McMaster car. That I have a will
Everybody-
call for the local McMaster car, but there aren't any deals to be had there. They don't have a showroom. It's just I can just
Can you hear me?
strictly save the freight.
Anybody get their stimulus check yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
I got
Some
mine.
of them are coming out this weekend.
Wow.
I got mine like the next day after Biden signed it in.
Really?
Nope, not yet.
Now you can buy gauge blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a whole set now, right?
I got a quick question on ER32 collets. The
Well,
collet nut.
You're the expert now, Chuck, on those.
Wait a minute. So somebody wrote comment on the channel that said they're supposed to be torqued to 100 foot-pounds.
Oof, no.
Wow.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's a
in that
spec.
Maybe inch pounds.
Nope.
Inch
If you go online and you search, you'll find numerous charts that have the suggested torque, and it's foot-pounds, 100 foot-pounds.
Yep, you can go get the spec document from RegoFix. It's 100.
Yeah,
Is it-
wow.
Right? Yeah.
That's tight for something like that.
So last night I converted my wrench to a crow's foot wrench, and I got up to 80 foot-pounds, and I'm too old. I couldn't go to 100, but it did make a difference on the reading. The other thing which Ox said, Tom, was tapping the collet nut with a plastic hammer as you tighten to help set it also.
Hey,
But
hey, Chuck, they make a blue pill that might help.
yeah. I got 2 bottles of
High
those.
quality nut.
I got 2 bottles, but it doesn't help when you take it and there's nothing else around,
No, you rub the blue pill on the collet.
Oh!
Oh.
Yeah, Maritool has a. You can buy a torque wrench and you can buy the different ends for them, and those work pretty well.
But how do you? Is it a crow's foot wrench?
It's a changeable head. It's like a 14 by 19 millimeter end, and then you buy the different adapters for the different size nuts, and they just snap in.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you have a part in the collet, how do you use the? It's not like a socket. It still goes.
It's like a ring. Like for the ER32, it's a ring with the teeth, and you just put that down over the tool, engage the nut, and you can tighten it.
The other thing I learned since I'm the expert, is that they actually have collet nuts with bearings in them, which I had no knowledge of that.
You don't want to run one of those to 100 foot-pounds.
I bet not. Yeah.
Those will put a lot more clamping force.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from James about his most expensive project.
Well, my shop, I've kind of started from the ground up and bootstrapped. So in terms of individual projects, probably the most expensive thing I've built was my CNC mill. And that was over the course of several years. I started with a little Grizzly Geo704. It's a 350, 400 pound bench top mill with a dovetail column. And, I converted that over with ball nuts. I actually grabbed the plans from Haas Machine Daniel Kemp. I haven't heard from him in a long time, but threw him a couple of bucks and got his plans and converted it. Went with some cheap steppers and drivers. Later upgraded those because they were not sufficient. Chinese C7 ball screws, and put that together. So you're talking what, $4,000, something like that, maybe $5,000 by the time I replaced things that I decided later I wanted better parts. And then about a year ago, I dropped a taper spindle on it, a 3 horsepower ATC spindle, and probably doubled the price of the project just with that. But, you know, so you're getting into territory where you could get into a used CNC mill or maybe even start to touch a Tormach with that. But I kind of still glad that I built it myself because I learned so much along the way. And, you know, I'd love to pick up a sponsorship and get a nice packaged mill with support, but I've kind of enjoyed building it, and it's probably about time to go through it again.
Quite a project.
It is. And when I started, you know, that mill was the machine. So how do you convert a mill to CNC when you're using the mill itself to make the parts that you need to do the conversion? That's a challenge to think through.
You buy a second machine.
Yeah,
That's what I did. I've got 2 mills in here.
James, you kind of stole mine. That's the same thing that with mine.
Yeah.
And
Well, and that mill's got a couple of dirty little secrets that you can't see on camera. The bed is not flat. I had to remove some cast iron from the bottom of it in order to make room for the ball nut. And when I did that, the whole bed tacoed a little bit. And so the center slot is about 4 thou higher than the edges of the table. And I actually have another mill. I just called Grizzly up and they said, oh yeah, no problem. They just shipped me another table. But of course it's not completely machined, and I just haven't gotten back to it because when I drop my 4-inch vise on it, tighten it down, it ends up dead nuts level. So I've just been running it that way. But I've got another table, and now I have a mill that's big enough to do a rough fly cut over the entire surface of that table and then maybe scrape it in. So that's a project that I'm thinking about, but you know, it just hasn't come up because it works.
Yeah, I love Grizzly support. They just, no problem, they'll send you anything for free.
Yeah, I've been impressed.
I wasn't aware of that. Maybe I could have got a lot of stuff. Sold my Grizzly. Yeah, I would like James there. My most expensive project was making that CNC plasma cutter. That thing wound up costing a fortune.
Hey, James, does your machine handle backlash?
I'm sorry?
Does your machine handle backlash with Mach 3?
It's got no, I don't use backlash compensation. It's got double nut ball screws on it, so they are essentially zero backlash.
Okay.
When it's new and when you get the angular contact bearing pairs adjusted right and shimmed properly, it's, you know, sub 1 thou. Right now it's probably 2 or 3, and I need to dig in and figure out what's going on. I think what's going on is it's got hard shims between the double nuts, and they can't be as tight as they need to be to completely eliminate the backlash because of the lead error over the length of a C7 screw. But I need to dig in and find out what's really going on there.
Yeah, I did a lot of research here, and it turns out with Mach 3, the original parallel driver for your computer, the driver is what handles backlash.
Yep.
So I had to buy all these different controllers, trying to find one which had a driver that finally did handle the backlash.
Yeah, I'm running an Ethernet smooth stepper, and at the time it didn't handle it. I think really you're best off getting ball screws and eliminating it that way, but you know, maybe if there's a little bit left, it'll help.
Well, I've got it going now, so
yeah, so I've had the same issues when I did mine. Although I started off with the Acme conversion, I did the phase 1 Haas plans, and by far that's been my most expensive project. Mostly because I had to buy all the tooling to do it. Like you said, you know, how do you modify the mill when you got it tore down? I had a friend that helped me convert it to ball screws, but he moved away and I didn't get it finished in time. It sat idle for 2 years, and I ended up buying the Bridgeport so I could finish the project. So I'm rolling that into the cost too. And of course, all the upgrades that I did for the Bridgeport.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Anybody heard from Haas in the last few years? He just kind
He
of
popped
disappeared.
back up. He had some surgery done. He lost a ton of weight. He actually posted up a picture of himself in one of his threads. He looked like a completely different person. He was
Wow.
like 160 pounds, looking very thin. Could barely recognize him. I don't know what he's doing now, but he's still floating around occasionally. I've seen him post once or twice in the past couple months.
I get lots of people that want details on my mill conversion, and I'm like, I paid for the plans. I recommend you do the same. I'm just not gonna put those drawings and stuff out there. They're not mine.
Yeah, I've got the same ones. I got I bought it early on before he even did the C7 ball screws. He was doing the Ruton ball screws back then, and I bought the plans before that, and then he started playing around with the C7s, and I ended up getting the double nut versions of those as well. In fact, I've went through 2 sets of those, one of them I left in the back of my pickup truck, and it rusted out, so I've had to buy 2 sets of ball screws. Blew up the motor controller for the DC spindle once. And then, of course, the stepper motors and that. I'm using Linux CNC, though, so I don't have to worry with the smooth stepper. Went with the Mesa control cards.
You reading all these comments, Harold?
Yeah, I am trying to. I've highlighted a few of them as I discovered them.
Tarmock's giving away mills.
Yeah,
Right.
so Westweld, I see that comment. No, I've not spoken with Tormach. If you know how to set me up with them, I would be happy to feature their products in my videos.
I'd love to get one of them too. So speaking of the Grizzly, I'm in the process of working on it right now. I'm actually milling in the oil
great.
grooves for the saddle. I did that on the Bridgeport manually. Only got half of it done. I got to do the other side, drill all the oil ports.
Stan, you probably have contacts there because you're giving away mills at the Bar Z Bash.
That's all Precision Matthews.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right.
Those are Taiwanese machines.
Yeah.
Matt's a good guy. I mean, he's sponsored a couple of channels.
Yeah,
But
put up a video.
I don't think he has any CNC equipment over there.
Put up a video showing a problem with one of his products, and man, he gets in touch with you real quick. I put that video showing all the accessories I bought with my mill that just had been stirred up in the box, and man, he was all over that. And
Yeah.
I was
pay for
looking
new,
at getting one of
you should
his
get new.
12 by 36 lathes for the space here, but we ended up going with a used route because it was just too expensive.
Yeah, we gave away one of those 12 by 36s a few years ago. It's funny, those come off the boat from Taiwan here at LA Harbor. They get shipped from LA Harbor to Pennsylvania to get prepped and fixed, and they get Americanized over there. They got all inch lead screws, and they get Americanized over here. Matt does it. And then it got shipped back here to the West Coast for the bash. We showcased it. And then my winner was over on the East Coast.
Oh my God, that thing had a lot of miles on it.
That was a very well-traveled lathe that we gave away that year.
He would have been better off trying to sell it on the West Coast and ship one to the other guy from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Well, Matt wasn't agreeable to give me 2 lathes. I only struck a bargain for one to give away, but we set it up and had it under power here so people could play with it, and we could put our stickers all over it. But I was pretty impressed with it. It looked pretty nice. We didn't actually make it.
Stan, does he buy the castings and then finish them, or does he get finished machines that he modifies?
I think he's a lot like the guys down in Rancho Dominguez, down at that Easy Track machine tools, where they buy everything already. They're cast, they're machined, they're scraped. It's a machine, and then they do the wiring and add all the lead screws and add all the critical components, if you want to call it that.
Okay, so they're semi-finished then.
they're kind of semi-finished. I didn't even know the Taiwanese would even offer that, but they do it to track machine tools, and I guess they're doing it to Precision Matthews too. They get all the controls are very. I don't know if you've seen the Chinese electrical drawings or the Taiwanese electrical drawings. They're very different from American electrical drawings, and if you don't know them, they're hard to read. If you're not accustomed to the way they think and the way they do things. And Precision Matthews I think they're fairly Americanized. They're about as Americanized as an Asian machine can get. How's that?
I know that I bought that mill, and supposedly the most of it's made in mainland China, and the head's made in Taiwan.
Okay.
So I guess they're sort of, I think they're sort of shifting around like that.
This MSC 1340 we have is Taiwanese made too.
I like the Taiwan
stuff
stuff.
in China, so
I think the Taiwan items are higher quality than Chinese, definitely.
Well, I would agree, Dave. Yeah.
Well, if you talk to Richard King, the scraping guy, he's been over to Taiwan a bunch of times training them on how to scrape. So he's been to all those major factories over there.
Some other comments here.
I'm not really keeping up on comments. What's
Well, Harold is.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying. It's rough
the
when
Precision
you're
Matthews has a equivalent mill to that Grizzly Geo 704 that people are converting to. That's real popular.
Dave,
Differences.
Go ahead.
I said the difference is the way the column attaches. I think it attaches to the top of the base instead of to the back of it. So you can't do any extensions to to give you more travel.
Is that the Precision Matthews? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same one that Quinn's running over at Blondie Hacks.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got Lee Peden, Pragmatic Lee has got that one also.
He's got a bigger one. He's got the
Okay.
45, I think.
Well, Brad Jacob over at Basement Machine Shop, he got one of the biggest ones that Precision Matthews has to offer. I think it's a 16 by 48 or something. It's pretty big.
Is that a knee mill or a bed mill?
Lathe.
Oh, lathe. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, nice looking machine too.
Yeah, it's a good looking machine. Runs quiet. He had a few issues getting it set up, but he overcame them all.
I'd like to have one of their gunsmith lathes, but at my age, I wouldn't get much use out of it.
Well, they've got different levels of precision on their lathes too. They've got their regular precision, and they got one called an ultra precision, which I guess they spend more time on scraping it in.
Better bearings. They put a different tolerance bearings in, and gears. And the gears are hardened too.
Yeah.
I found that out as well. That was the one we were looking at getting.
Oh, okay. Well, I know when I order shafting, if I order ultra precision shafting or just precision shafting, you pay more for it. You pay more for the ultra precision, but then there's a little lead time, and you say, "Oh, you have to make it," and they said, "No, we got to find it." All they got to do is go to the shelf and dig around. They'll find the ultra precision stuff. They just got to pull it off the shelf, but they got to sit there and measure each one till they find the ultra precision shafting.
Well, I've heard bearings are like that too. You got the different ratings, ABEC 5, ABEC 9, and so forth. And it's just how they sort them when they come out of inspection is what I heard.
Yeah, when they get inspected,
that's right.
They measure one and go, "Wow, this one's really good. This is a grade AA, or this is a grade A."
Right.
They grade them on the way through, and
Yeah.
you don't have to wait for them to make it. You have to wait for them to find it.
Same thing with Intel and CPUs running on the higher megahertz range. They go through and test them, and the ones that'll hit the higher ones, that's the ones they mark with the higher gigahertz rating, and then the next one's down, they mark it as the lower ones.
Yep.
Chuck, golf in the background's got to be the most boring sport I've ever seen.
Well, if you play it, it's not.
Oh, you play golf?
Oh yeah. If you understand how hard it is to play, it's something else to watch. But it's a
Yeah,
good
I
one
played-
to take a nap on also.
I've played a couple of times.
I'm sitting here just looking, trying to find an article, not an article, an advertisement, to see if you guys had ever seen it. So I'm just digging real quick to find it.
Hey, Randy.
All right,
Hey.
Billy.
Hey, Billy. Oh,
What
that's
is
your
it?
box. That was
Yeah,
your
that's the
box?
box I printed out.
Yeah.
What is that in the background, Randy? What is that?
In my
Behind you.
background here, right here.
Yeah.
This is my woodworking bandsaw.
Jeez.
Got a pretty deep throat.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave,
Yeah, mine has it's I don't know, 20 inches.
Gee,
Yeah.
You can run your car through that thing.
That thing's a monster.
Hey, Dave, you were talking about those
Three-wheel
gauge blocks having
bandsaw.
wear spots.
What was that, Billy?
I said you were talking about the gauge blocks and having the wear spots or the hole for the wear blocks.
Yeah.
I just looked at my Shar's B set. It doesn't have one of those. I'm guessing because it's a B set, they don't expect you to need it for a shop grade block set.
Yeah, mine too.
They're all
I've got
their
a B
blocks.
set and it doesn't have that spot.
Let me go look at mine.
$89.
Yeah, you got a whole box full of wear blocks, is what you got there.
Yeah, I know. It serves my purpose.
Hey, it's what I've got too. $88 or something.
Yeah.
It does the job.
Yeah, they're accurate too.
That's the one.
Yep.
How
I
hard
got
do
that
you ever
one on
need
eBay
something
guy.
like that?
Yours have a spot, Stan?
Yeah, I'm getting it out right now. I actually
Yeah.
have two slots for wear blocks.
Oh, nice. That's
Uh,
Mijitoyo, right?
Yeah. See, I got one that's an empty slot right here.
Yeah.
And 100,000. Then right next to it, another 100,000. So I'm missing one of my wear blocks. I think I wore it out.
Wow.
That's on my little set. Let's take a look at the big set.
Stan, do you have that ceramic set?
I do. That's what I'm gonna look at. Were you there when I bought that?
I was there when you bought
Just
it.
talking about it puts a smile on my face. It
Yeah.
takes a lot to put a smile on my face.
Stan the rich guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much.
No.
Buy another set with your stimulus check.
Yeah, I got two empty slots in here too.
Here's the listing on MSC for me at least.
Right up there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Wow.
Hey, there's a
Check
bunch
that
of them
out
there,
because
Dave.
I've got an MSC order coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get as much as I can at one time to combine the shipping.
Yeah, it's like just what you want to buy these little blocks, just shove them in an envelope, put a stamp on it. Don't charge me $20.
Well, I get if I order $50 or more, I get free shipping from MSC. Yeah, and they give me a discount, so that's my discounted price. I can get it for.
How do you get a
I
discount?
buy all my
I don't
get
know.
all my
They give me a
stocks from
discount.
them, so
I buy a lot of
I get a
stuff.
good deal.
I buy a lot of stuff from them.
I used to
That's
get
gotta
a
be it.
discount too.
So I picked these up at a place called Bargain Hunt a year or two ago. $7.50 each.
Steve, I'm looking at that parallel set that you just showed. They've got one on eBay right now for $70.
It's a bid though.
Yeah. Where I just now had it
Yeah.
up. Where is
Yesterday it was at 40.
it's at 70 right now. Used, time
Okay.
left 4 days.
Yeah, it'll close out at about 100 and a quarter or better.
Oh, really? Yeesh.
Oh yeah,
Too
they
much
don't
for
go
me then.
cheap.
Yeah.
Tom Lipton and Chuck did us in on that. The price went up as soon as that aired.
There's one on there for $70 right now bidding.
Yeah, bid
Yeah,
it,
that's the
but
one I'm
that'll
looking
sell
at.
for-
Yeah.
That'll sell for over 120 before it's done.
Hey, Harold,
I
can you
watch
tell me?
them.
I wanted to show this. See if anybody's ever seen this. I've never seen this.
I'll try, Chuck. I'm not
It
very
is.
good at this. Let me see.
Or I don't know, maybe that's coming through for you guys.
Yeah.
The
What
Chuck,
do we?
yeah.
Hang on,
What?
Chuck.
What is it?
Wrong one. There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
What is it? What? Precision grinding. Oh.
Precision grinding lathe or your milling machine, the super finisher.
It got two
Like a
wheels.
knurling tool.
It's
I
it's like a
haven't seen
milling tool, but it says you can. Let's just say world's only tool that converts your lathe or milling machine into a precision grinder.
Yeah, I have a feeling that white part is the grinding wheel, and your machine is what's spinning, not it.
Never seen it from. Let's see. This is February '83.
Huh.
They've probably already gone out of business.
Yeah, huh? I thought that was interesting. Never seen that.
Yeah, that is an interesting idea. Usually you have a spinning wheel that you put on the machine. This way, the wheel isn't moving, your machine is moving.
Moving, yeah.
Well, guys, it's time to go.
Oh, geez, that was quick.
All righty.
Time
Yeah,
flies
I'm
when
going to
you're
end the
having
broadcast. You can hang around and shoot the bull as long as you want to.
fun.